audio.
It has to cover the full.
This meeting of the Summit County Board of Elections is called to order. First item on the agenda is the approval of the bills. Is there a motion to approve those?
Second.
Any debate on the motion?
Just one question on envelope solutions for $45,000. I presume that's printing.
Yes, so with changes from SB 293, we have to print new absentee envelopes, our red return and our blue outbound, and then we were getting some other non-absentee envelopes also.
What kind of volume are we throwing away?
Probably better part of 120,000 envelopes total.
So how many are we ordering on the assumption that the people who help us run elections at the state legislative level and Secretary of State's will make changes in the future? How many do we plan to print going forward?
So we're doing 70,000 of our red return envelopes, figuring that should be good to cover us for both a primary and a general. And then we're doing 100,000 of the blue envelopes to give us a little bit of extra.
The blue envelopes are for what?
Those are what the outbound we use. That's the outbound envelope for when we mail out the absentee packet to the voter.
Well, yeah, it seems doing a year's worth in advance is reasonable. It's a balancing act between knowing that someone's going to change the language, you're going to end up throwing some away, but that's a huge volume we're throwing away. Because if we're throwing away 125,000, we have, at some point, we printed 2 or 3 years worth.
Yeah, when we bought them last year, it was because we had the change of address. So we knew we were going to have to buy new ones anyway, and figuring when we bought them last year, they were going to be good for this year until the law changed.
The only certainty is there'll be change in the future in all forms. But I think ordering for the next year, for 2026, is reasonable. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
If there's no other debate, all in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is adopted without dissent. The next item is the approval of bids for ballots, poll books, and election kits for 2026. Good morning.
Morning. In front of you got this sheet here that has like the orangish, reddish coloring. I figured we'd start with the easy stuff first.
I have no color.
The only one that has the printing assembly, the location and polling kits on it. Not the one I handed to you, this one.
Well, this does have some level of color.
Yeah, that's gonna be the one I'm talking about. Yeah. I figured we could start easy and just take care of the election kits and the polling location poll books.
A little bit of grayscale.
Oh, okay.
We only had one person come in and bid. It was Document Concepts for both election kits and poll books. The election kits this year are going to be $7.50 cheaper per kit. And then the polling location poll books stay the same as last year.
So I see the individual parts. At the bottom, you have $40 for the, what is the $40 for?
It's for the election kits,
And then $51.50 for,
the poll books, the polling location poll
and that's
books.
finished per precinct.
Yep. Well, per location, yeah.
Per location,
Yeah, both those are by location.
They're, because they're not done by precinct.
right, yeah, right. Even cheaper.
Yes. Well, we got those binders now, and most of the documents that are in the binders were in the kits before, so since he's not printing as much, he lowered the price.
And they recycle the binders?
We reuse them, yeah. All those are static unless the Secretary of State changes it. So there's 2 documents that need changed this year, but we do that in-house.
Well, we've had good experiences with this vendor now for over a decade, right?
As long as I've been here, yeah.
I remember when they got into this, and there's no competition, and there's no reason not to use them, so I'll move the I'll move the,
Acceptance of the quotes
that one, yes.
from document concept, you're talking about both the polling location election kits and the poll books?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion is adopted without dissent.
All right, now we'll get to the harder part. The printing of the ballots this year, we got 5 bids in. If you want to switch to the other sheet, we kind of broke it down. It's still got the prices. It's got the pros and cons of each company, or reasons for not recommending versus recommending. I don't know if you want me to go through it, or if you guys want to read that first.
Give us a chance to look at it.
We do have the samples of each ballot printing they did up here.
Are any of the 5 bidders just removed from consideration because they failed to comply with the requirements of the proposal?
Yes, the bottom 3, Fort Orange Press, Midwest Direct, and the Runbeck. And down there you can see the reasons why, whether it be from the samples themselves, past issues, bonds, no info on the schedule, turnaround time, things that we specifically required in the bid.
So it's down to the vendor and Phoenix. I'm sorry, not vendor, Integrated Voting Systems and Phoenix.
Yes, and then
And does the director and do the deputy director and the director have a recommendation between the two?
Yeah, I think in consultation, Pete and I having a conversation with Brian, Cheryl, and Caitlin and Christian, we were comfortable moving forward with a new vendor being Phoenix Graphics. They're not an in-state vendor, which would be the first time we've ever done this, but yeah, we did feel comfortable, especially even seeing the samples that they provided as well. Pete, I don't know if you had anything else.
Yes, I have to concur with that. Phoenix, throughout the process with this and even prior involvement with them, has
this is just the
really
layout.
gone out of their way to show that they want our business, and it looks like technologically it will provide a lot of advantages in terms of entering our data into the system for them to produce the ballots.
That's right, I had it doing so that looks like me.
And so in all of these, we will have a 2-stub staple stitched.
That's the plan.
And you gave me this one that only has a 1.
That's IVS, and I believe there is 2 stubs on that one.
Oh. No, I don't
They tore one off, that's why.
Okay, yeah, I see, there you go.
Phoenix.
And the
Phoenix
staple
Graphics.
stitch, was that our bid specification?
Yeah, we did that because last year we barely got any bids, and this opened it up to more people. A lot of people do not do the gluing, so doing this allowed us to get more bids in. Phoenix Graphics did give us a list of contacts they recommended to call, see if they're good or not. One of them was Trumbull County here in Ohio. I called them. Stephanie switched from IVS to Phoenix, and she has no regrets. They've been great. Their delivery, they give a 2-week window, and they said most of the time they have their ballots within 1 week. Phoenix is only 4 hours and 15-minute drive from here, and IVS technically is 30 minutes, but their IT company is in California, so we can't send anything to them till 11 in the morning, and then they have a 30-minute drive. So in reality, it's only a 45-minute difference at that point if we contact Phoenix at 8 in the morning versus wait until 11 for IVS.
Did I hear Phoenix is located in New York?
Yes, they're in Rochester.
Yeah.
I also called other states. They're partnered with Clear Ballot. I contacted Saratoga County in New York, and they're 5 hours away from Rochester. And she was telling me how good they were, and that one time they're in between vendors, and Phoenix they called them on a Sunday because they needed 40,000 ballots delivered to them, And on Monday afternoon, they had those 40,000 ballots to them. They have, Phoenix also has everything in-house, from the paper supply, the printing, their tech support, and they have shipping. They do their own shipping. They don't hire FedEx, UPS, or Pittsburgh or anything like that. They do it themselves.
So how do you really feel about it?
I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Well, and they're also the low bidder.
Yeah, they're also the lowest bidder.
Yeah.
And the sample you see from them is just given the minimum information, and they replicated those ballots pretty spot on. They're partnered with Clear Ballot.
How long has Phoenix been in this business?
I do not know that answer. Is it in their specs?
When you say partners with Clear Ballot, what does that mean?
They work with Clear Ballot in Clear Ballot County. So Saratoga in New York is a Clear Ballot county. I called them. Their ballots work wonderful. They do them for absentee. They print off provisionals separately in New York, I guess. So they do those, and I do their poll ballots for them. And she has no complaints up there.
So by going out to bid, I can presume that we've made the decision not to print our election day ballots in-house.
Yes. It says that Phoenix has been around since 1984 doing this.
Trying to figure out how Saratoga County's 5 hours away from Rochester, but never mind.
I Google mapped it, and that's what the lady said too, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I was wondering too.
I mean, you can almost get to New York City from Rochester in 5 hours. I've done it.
Not if you're my dad. Not if you're my dad.
Oh, okay, well, I'm not.
To be fair, driving a truck full of ballots goes at a different speed than
Okay,
an
all
Audi.
Mr.
Any
Chairman?
other questions?
On the no, I was going to make a motion.
Go ahead.
On the recommendation of the staff, I move that we select Phoenix Graphics for the 2026 ballot printing bid.
Second.
Yeah, poll ballots.
Poll ballots. Thank you.
Any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. The motion is adopted without dissent.
Mr. Chairman, just one other thing. This is great that we had 5 bidders. There was a time when we couldn't get more than 1 bidder, and we pursued antitrust and all other sorts of things going back several decades. I would recommend, even though it's a little extra work, informing those that bid that were disqualified from being considered because they didn't meet, tell them, and invite, we need to cultivate competition. Competition is the bedrock of capitalism, where it breeds excellence, lowest price and highest performance. And so to have 5 bidders on a ballot printing is great. You changed the RFP to stitching, got away from the gumming so that we could get more bids. That's great. The state changed the law to allow us to consider people from out of state. That's great. So now we're in a place where I don't want these 3 bidders to write us off. We do 1-year contracts for a reason. It's a good thing. So I would just explain to them where they came up short so that they could have a better chance in the future.
We can do that.
That's just my advice in cultivating brisk competition for the future.
Do we have any idea of how many bids we'd have gotten if we didn't allow for the stapled, if we stayed with the glued?
Last year we had 3 bids. We had IVS, this Fort Orange, and Election IQ. This is the most I've seen since I've been here, having 5.
And Phoenix doesn't do?
Phoenix did not bid last year. They came in 2 years ago, gave us showed us samples, showed us how their website works, how we would send stuff off to them. That was Christian, myself, and Pete at the time. We saw them 2 years ago. We sent the email to them last year, and I think because we do the gumming, they didn't bid at all last year. Now opening this up, we got, Runbeck I've never even heard of before, and they bid this year when we opened it up to state stitching. Midwest Direct bid this year. They didn't bid last year.
Do we know whether Phoenix still doesn't do gumming?
I do not know for a fact, but just based on the fact we switched it, we sent it to them last year with the gumming, and they didn't bid. This year we switched it to the stitching, and now they bid.
And I will note that I had follow-up conversations with Phoenix last year after they didn't bid, because I had reached out, making sure that they knew that the bids were open, and they said expressly it was the gumming that kept
Oh.
them from bidding.
And what kind of difference does gumming versus stitching make for the PEOs at the ballot table?
If you see the samples there, I think the only difference is it's easier to rip off because you're just ripping at the stub at that point. That's why we added the extra stub, so you don't have to worry about ripping out damaging the ballot itself with the second stub on there. So you just fold it and rip at the bottom stub.
Still sounds a little dicier.
Yeah, we went to gumming because the quality of the perforations was unreliable, and the booth workers were tearing it and tearing the ballot because this first perforation to get it off the tablet was not consistently good. In fact, we had one 90-year-old booth worker who pulled out a big knife and started, and it was a little aggressive. We had to relieve him of his duties because the women he was working with because he was argumentative too.
Was this a Crocodile Dundee style knife?
It was like that, but given his temperament, so we had to send somebody out to fire him, the PEO. He was a Republican, so we sent Heather Nagel out to go. Anyway, but it was at that time that the vendor said, why don't we gum these so they can just tear them off easily without tearing the ballots? Because we did have a number of soiled ballots, because obviously once you tear the ballot, you have to. And so if the perforation's better, and I think we've had this conversation in this process, that they promised that the perforations will be good enough. That's the other thing, is when there's two perforations here, so when you're folding it to tear off the one, you don't want to tear this one. So it isn't without its, but this is the norm in the industry. This stapled with the two stubs is the norm around Ohio and I don't know where else, but.
We did put in our bid that went out the specs on the perforation as well.
Yeah, what are the specs? There's a whole perforation wheel standard. It's like a knife that goes over the paper, and if you don't sharpen it or replace it, it doesn't, ES&S said, well, that was whoever our vendor was, they just weren't replacing the perforation wheel that perfs this paper. That's a good explanation, but not helpful after the fact. Well, I really don't need to know what.
I'll be interested to hear what the PEO's experience is at this next election. I'm a little concerned about it. I guess it's really just a matter of how long it takes them and how many spoiled ballots there are, but.
Yeah. I don't need to know the perforation wheel,
You asked.
but I will be smarter as
Number 1.10. There's another section in there in our actual bid that mentioned the micro-perfing wheel.
36 micro perforations per inch. I was hoping for 38, but I think 36 will do.
This is from Clear Ballot, talk to them.
I think they were going for multiples of 12.
Well, but you really want the perf to actually hit the edge, not the inset. So it's gonna make a difference, if you have a little bit of paper before you start a perf, you have a risk of it walking on
Yeah, you want the open end, right, to get a running head start on the tear. Anyway, well, we'll live and learn in the primary. Will they do our ballot stock? No, for our absentee by mail, we're going to print, and they're never stitched. They're always loose sleeve.
Yes.
They wouldn't work.
So will they print our blank ballot stock, this company, or will we get that from somewhere else?
Right now, we still have a decent quantity on hand that we bought from IVS previously, but no, we'll probably look at other vendors just to see what else is available going forward.
Gotcha.
Anything else? Is there any objection to adjournment?
Oh, did we vote on that? Yeah, we did.
We did.
We did, yeah. Yeah, no objection, no objection.
Voted, and then we
You
had
you
our
had, you had me, you had me questioning myself now. But yes, we did. If there's nothing else on that,
We did, we did.
Brian was just,
When I opened up
Denny,
the
do
can
you
by
have-
saying we should tell those who failed.
we voted, and then Brian had a follow-up question, and I had a follow-up question, and that's what we've been discussing. If there's no objection to adjournment, I declare the meeting adjourned.